Alright, y'all. I am back with And the Haze Will Take Us, the season finale. Since I already uploaded my first time reaction to it, I just decided to record the part where I couldn't pick any option. Again, I decided to stay with the HAZE path and the determination path because in my eyes it would have completely changed the entire plot / the behavior of the character. Ozar. She raised her hand awkwardly. Her fingers were thin and bony. Oza sat down in front of her bed and tucked her hand between his palms. You can keep your voice down, Yaga. You will always be formidable enough for me to follow your orders. The priestess smiled faintly and closed her eyes. Then she opened them and said in a quieter voice but more firmly, You must go to the gods. Ask them what awaits us. Oza wanted to say they wouldn't answer, but kept quiet. He simply pressed his lips together and nodded. Y'all, honestly, what I saw, even though Oza is like the chosen one of the gods, and he hears their whispers and etc., honestly, this man also has a different view of the gods and the haze. When you go with the determination path, I don't know how many of you guys actually follow the determination path or if you prefer to be on the compassionate one, but I'm gonna tell you what happens. When you choose in the last episode, that you refuse to actually sacrifice the sheep because in your eyes it's not really gonna do a damn thing, instead of being I don't know, shame on you, you know that the gods need it. He's I agree. It's not gonna do a damn thing. He's not even mad at you nor nothing. The only one that's grimacing is the priestess. This man says nothing against that. It's he already resigned to the thought that the gods are not gonna help us in this battle. Simona, come here. Oza stood and returned to his place against the wall. It was Simona's turn to lean over the bed. No, the gods are not merciful with me. As you can see, this is a completely different thing. I think I had 10 reality points. I'm not. So the gods aren't happy with me. Exactly, but the haze is reaching out to you. It really is. That's gonna be so interesting. That's because your heart is not open to the gods. You don't turn to them for support. You actually expect me to turn to them for support? We're in a time of need, and instead of actually helping us despite all the sacrifices that we're doing, and a lot of animals had to pay, a lot of animals were sacrificed in order, or more hoping that could actually stir the strength of the gods, and it didn't do a damn thing. I am a realist, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it does not really match with the fact that I am on the path of haze, but I do want to believe in something better, in something more powerful. So, in my eyes, when a lot of people are you're too pessimistic. No, I'm not pessimistic. I'm not really an optimist. I'm a realist. I'm realistic. Sadly, the world is fucked up. The world we live in is fucked up. And no matter how hard we try, there will always be so many difficulties that we will have to go through. And it will actually always find a way to shatter the last piece of hope you have. And then you will have to fight with everything you've got in order to regain your trust or your faith, or you're gonna drown because of it. I'm realistic. I don't believe, as in when we're talking about the story here. I said a lot of things about my beliefs, and please do not feel afraid to actually let me know in the comments what you feel about this. I said it when I played Kali Flame of Samsara, that my faith in the gods has diminished a great deal, which is why I didn't feel like I should go with the path of the gods. But in my eyes, I just thought it's interesting that you have the power to control what everyone else is most afraid of. Everyone is petrified of the haze and its power. And that's why they keep on growing hope that the gods will protect them from it, even though they know what the haze did to them in the past, always allowing like those abominations to come out and grab people and drag them into the haze. Like actually having the power to stop this, having the power to actually control those creatures that are coming out of that is a power. Let's see what this is. Your foolish young soul doesn't understand what's waiting out there in the haze. No, but I wanted to know so badly, yet you always refuse to give me the answers. You're drawn there, but you're afraid to face your fears. You're nervous because you believe you can't handle it, but don't look away. She says as she hates the haze. She said, I'm scared to actually confront myself with my biggest fears. That's interesting. The priestess squeezed her hand and pulled her closer. Simona stumbled and nearly fell. I trust you won't accept the evil spirit's outrage. You won't choose darkness. I'm not here for the darkness. I'm here. In my eyes, that's why I would consider myself, like with this choice as in Path of Haze, I would consider myself the necessary evil here. No one would willingly, like everyone in the comment section, lie to me all you want. No one would willingly walk into the haze. Like, we're not stupid. Like, adventure is fine. Being attracted to like the darkness, as in the dark or negative personality traits like Malbonte, Cain, like you all get the list. Yes, but this is like you just having a different view of life. Like life has actually knocked you down so much that now you need to find yourself again. Like this negativity that is inside of you, it's just covering a huge ass heart, a very pure heart. And we as the pure souls, we're just trying to help you get back to that, as in to connect with who you used to be before you allowed all that darkness like to shape you into like this person that is unable like to connect with their emotions again, that you can't speak your mind anymore because you're petrified of what that could mean, etc. Like you all get the list. It goes on and on. But actually the starkness that the haze represents, I would never ever be willing. Like you all saw my first time reaction when I saw these creatures coming out. Never ever. But imagine having the capability to tell the haze to shove it. That's what I mean. In my eyes, I consider myself the necessary evil here in this story with like choosing Path of Haze, is because the haze is like the most villainous thing in this story, I would assume. I mean, we're just at season 1. It causes so much fear, so much desperation among all of those people in the village. You would never ever be willing to go there into the haze, but actually having the capability, just to put it in here, to go into the haze and to remain yourself, the darkness that is inside that haze, that's actually like just sucking the life out of you, leaving you lifeless, ready to be controlled by whichever dark force that is controlling the haze, or like just sucking all the souls of every single human that got trapped in the haze dry, is a power. Like imagine you actually being capable to go into the haze without it actually having any effect on you. It's like you're immune against all the darkness that the haze actually carries within. You then having the capability, I don't know, to perhaps heal the people that were actually sent into the haze and then lost themselves because of the negativity that the power of the haze actually forced upon your soul, your mind, leaving you lifeless, like those lifeless zombies. Like, imagine the power you would have. I would never willingly go into the haze. But imagine having the power to be immune against your biggest nightmare. Damn. I would never choose the darkness. Simona looked at Oza anxiously. Is she saying goodbye to us? Now all of a sudden she's realizing that. But she took note of the priest's words and nodded gratefully. I'll face my fears. That's not even a question mark, girl. You have received valuable advice. Your conversation will play a role. All right. The priestess rested her head back down and looked at the ceiling. Her eyelids closed again and her twitched between them, chasing images visible only to her. Would better leave her alone. Alright, now the choice that I couldn't pick because I didn't have enough determination points. Varia may be among them. She'll want to come home. We have to let her in. Simona exchanged glances with her father, their eyes shone with despair. Period. What should I do? We must hang them anyway. Period. No, Simona, shut it, bitch! Her mother gripped her hand. Babe. I did say everything there was to say about the mother, didn't I? It will have an impact whether or not she gets mutilated, because when I actually uploaded my first reaction to it, I remember my friend Parkdre in the comment section literally listing everything that happens when you don't have enough points, like to choose a damn option in this episode. Let's see if it actually makes a difference. Simona could tell that her mother was ready to fall to her knees and truly beg, so she moved hastily away. Simona, please, this woman. Again, I understand, but she did the girl. Sophia, don't. You have other daughters. Think about them. Maria won't touch them. What if someone else who comes? Period. Like, you do know this is an invasion of zombies, right? Or whichever way you want to look at it. In my eyes, they're zombies, lifeless. Simona's mother hung her head, drooping over. It was as if all the strength had been snapped out of her body. She will come to us another night, when the Kyoshi are gone. Simona and her father quickly warded the house. Kyoshis wouldn't enter houses that were protected by the power of the gods. You managed to convince your mother to be careful, alright. But now actually reading that, the Kyoshi won't come into a house that is protected by the gods. That's also a nice power to have. But again, in my eyes, it's best to be an insider than an outsider, because if you actually have the power to prevent the Kyoshi from coming out of the haze, then you wouldn't need the power of the gods in order to protect yourself and the people you love. Let's see. As she stepped over the threshold, the world disappeared, as if it had dissolved into rich white milk, and there was nothing ahead but a vast emptiness. Varia, I'm here, daughter. Can you tell me how this is different than when you don't tell her to be careful? She's still stupid AF, actually walking out knowing that all the Kyoshi are there. She screamed into the dark, waving her hands. She screamed again and again, insistently, desperately. As if yielding to her plea, the fog began to thin. She could make out a silhouette somewhere in the distance, in the swirling clouds of mist, and screamed even louder. Signal your enemy that you're here. I'm here, darling. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Stay with us. The silhouette, which had been standing still, moved, stirring the fog. Yes, I'm here. I'm here, Varia. Your mother. The figure responded to Sophia's call. The silhouette came closer, and with each passing moment, its outline sharpened and clarified. Oh well. Suddenly, a chill ran down her back. It wasn't her child. The empty eyes of the Kyoshi bored into her soul. Yeah, that's what happened. Stupidity. Sophia opened her mouth to scream, but her disappointment was so deep that she was struck speechless. Not with fear, with grief. Her child, her kind, cheerful daughter. Sophia would never see her again. Sophia looked back at the open door and realized what she had done. She wanted to wail, releasing her anger at herself, but there was nothing she could do. The Kyoshi stood in front of her, and there was nowhere to go. Again. Where is the difference? Is the difference happening later, or is Dragan still the savior of the day? Alright, let's see. She screamed and struggled, but the silent figures remained indifferent. Her gaze started fearfully from the forest to the gods and back. Yeah, since we are not in the favor of the gods, we are actually completely... we've been neglected by them. So the light went out. There's no hope no more for us. Now let's see if I actually, considering the fact I had enough points for the HAZE path, if I am capable to do something with those zombies, or if I again need to be saved by the Queen Sirin. The images of the Kyoshi merged into something vague, blurring their faces into one terrible whole, until her eyes fell on a familiar face, although it had lost its former vivacity and consciousness. It is different. I don't remember that we saw Mylan. Oh my god. Honestly, though, I feel so bad for him, though. Like, his once happy face filled with life has been reduced to this. A wolf went to him, actually slashed his face, and that's how it remained. It never fully healed, and now he remained disfigured. This is so painful, like, to actually see our former best friend. Hold up. Is he capable to do something? Will he recognize us? Me. Simona stopped struggling. All her strength, her unshakable confidence that she would be able to escape fate, destroyed by one look at Mylan. Yeah. He's also one that is slowly moving closer to her, huh? She felt her throat close, whether from a cry, a reply, or tears. I feel bad for her character, because actually seeing in general, like, knowing that you lost someone you truly care about by the haze next door is like one thing. I already said my piece about that. Why the fuck are they still staying next to it? But on the other side, imagine actually seeing someone that you've lost, someone that you could never ever move on from, and you know that they're probably in agony, and you're like trying day after day to like reduce the feelings of guilt, or more like the pain of knowing that they had to suffer even in death, because that's not really death, if you ask me, if the haze takes you. This is like a torment for your soul. You get tortured, or more like your soul gets tortured after you die. This is not like you die and you go to hell. No, you die, the haze claims your soul, and then you have to endure endless and endless hours of torture. Every second of the day you feel only pain and suffering. Nothing of your former self remains. That's awful. She didn't know what was fighting to be let out. Pity, hatred, fear? Mylan, her dear friend, the one who'd kill her sister, or the innocent one whom the village had foolishly sent into the endless darkness. The endless darkness, what have I said? What have I said in the beginning of the episode? Who was he to her? A traitor? A martyr? A ghost from her past? Honestly, he is and remains my friend. No one would actually be willing to walk into the haze if they didn't think that this was the best solution for the people they care about. Love gives you wings. That's what I say. He felt the need to sacrifice himself. Why? We don't know. Hopefully we'll find out in the next season. But in my eyes, he innocent. Her parched lips parted and she heard a hoarse, pleading voice. Oh, stop. I feel so bad for her. I really do. Because these are like contradicting emotions that you feel. The pain of knowing that someone you loved actually killed someone else that you love, and left you with the grief of losing two people, as in someone that you loved more than anything else, and the feeling of betrayal. Or you losing someone that you loved, and someone else felt the need to sacrifice themselves for you, because they thought that it was better for you. I mean, a lot of people told me in the comments that they think that he sacrificed himself for someone else, for another woman. But since we don't have any other explanation, in my eyes, it was partially because of us, because Varia has to do with us. So I'm gonna keep on hanging on to the theory that he felt the need that it was better to sacrifice himself. And it could be possible that there was a different agenda to why he felt that it was for the best to sacrifice himself. But in my eyes, he also partially did it because of us. In his eyes, maybe that's that's what we needed in order to be capable to move on. Even if it would be at the cost of hating him. Mylin? He looked at her as if her pathetic attempts made no sense, as if she and everyone around her would follow him sooner or later. And then he lifted his wasted hand to his face in motion for her to be silent. What? What? That don't make sense. He stepped out of the orderly row of Kyoshi and slowly walked away. And then the others released her. What? And he saved us. Mylin, again, he's a star. My saving grace. Maybe it's like they are a flock. And when you are a flock, you do what everyone else does. So when someone else decides to go in a different direction, everyone else follows them. If that makes sense. Because if he actually held up his finger to his mouth in ways to tell us to be silent, and then he moved away and everyone else started to follow him, then that means that deep down, he is still the Mylin that we know. He is still in there somehow. First her hair, then her hands and dress. It took Simona a moment to realize that she was free. Frozen in the same stance as their struggle, she watched the figures walk away. Mylin? She whispered his name, knowing that he wouldn't turn around, wouldn't respond, knowing that he didn't care. She wanted to hug him, me. As, my apologies, as disgusting and horrific his appearances, I would have actually desired to hug this man. And it would be my first and last mistake, I feel, because even though he is fighting, he is still part of their flock now. So even if the Mylin that we know and love is capable, sort of, to fight through, like, to put an example in here, like our sister, she would be coming to us. She would appear on the doorstep, or more like on our bedsill, even though we're doing everything in our power, like to keep the Kyoshi away. So in my eyes, first off, she's not a Kyoshi, which is strange enough as it is. But maybe, even if you actually are thrown into the haze and everything, you still are partially you. But the power of the haze, the power that the haze has over you is way too powerful for you to fight against. So it needs supernatural human strength. So it needs superhuman strength in order for you to actually be capable, like, to fight the power of the haze. And I feel like that's what Mylin did right now. He fought the power of the haze and decided to look for a different target. And that's how he saved us. She wanted to hug him, keep him there, but she mentally crushed that desire, tore it to the shreds, to small crumbs. He helped me. It's the most Mylin could do for me. Had he really helped her? Yes, he did. Had he realized what he was doing? Was there anything left of the man she'd known in that shell frozen by darkness? Yes. And in my eyes, that's power. If you're capable, the Kyoshis didn't harm you. No. I have that power, alright, bitches. No, I can't, y'all. They didn't have to bring Mylin into this because my heart is still not over it. Simona. Simona turned at the sound. Siren's hoarse voice echoed in the air. The wind carried it across the clearing, robbing it of its sharpness and volume. Siren's face bore a surprised expression, but she wiped it away as if she had accidentally revealed what she was hiding inside. She was holding a long twisted candle back as the night, the flame danced, illuminating her stern face. Siren licked her fingertips and pinched the wick between them. The fire obediently extinguished with a bearable audible hiss. Siren came closer and looked at Simona, saying softly, "I saw what you did." "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. It was Mylin." Siren stared long and hard into her eyes as if looking for signs of deceit, but then said reluctantly, "Wait, do we have the power of preservation?" "It must have been very dear to you. You must have been very dear to him." "I know. That's why I keep on holding on to the theory. I mean, again, I don't want to make myself the it girl. But since we don't have any other information, it would be cute. I do always emphasize in my eyes, there are 3 types of love. Friendship love, family love, and romantic love. Mylin was two of those categories. He was friendship love and he was family love. I do want to believe that the love that he felt for us was powerful enough to kind of like make him realize that he was gonna be harming someone that he used to care about, even in his most awful state of mind. Sirin came to your rescue, but you managed on your own. Thank you. With the Kyoshi gone, the tension suddenly snapped like a broken thread. Simona sat down on the ground to catch her breath. Alright, let's see. Is she getting mutilated? Meanwhile, Akoshe approached Sophia with relentless, silent cruelty. She remembered her daughter's words, her husband's words. She cursed herself again for her foolishness, for her ruinous hope that bony harbinger of death couldn't be her daughter. Anger at herself gave her strength and fear didn't paralyze her. All right. Sophia ran toward the house, opened the door, and closed it again before the Kyoshi could reach her. All right. Okay. All right. That got me. That got me because the stupidity killed the cat, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why I keep on saying it like that. Stupidity killed the cat. She was outside of the house. I would have assumed, oh, all right. I warned her, or Dad warned her. So I guess our words did ring a bell after all. But the salt no longer protected them, and the dead man began to knock. Relentless and certain, ready to pound on the door endlessly. Ratmi woke up and jumped to his feet. Oh, I need to record. Oh, this is new. He yelled something, but Sophia couldn't make it out, and the two of them leaned on the door to keep the evil creatures away. Hold up, is it multiple now? The door shook, the wood was cracking, ready to succumb to the remarkable strength of the dead. Just when they're giving up hope, the knocking stopped. They heard muffled sounds on the other side of the door. What's going on? I want to know. I don't know. They listened, and when a voice rang out, they both flinched and recoiled. Period, my man. It's me. Ratmi opened the door and let the blacksmith in. The three of them embraced eagerly. Aww. See, he already part of the family. You don't need to make introductions. Honestly, in my eyes, it would be extremely interesting if you have Oza and Volot as your end man, because they are kind of part of the priests, and our parents seem to be thankful for them and their hard work and their services, but they wouldn't want us to be part of the priests. So actually knowing what they do and everything, it would be interesting to know how they would feel about us bringing them home. Dragan was like a ray of light piercing the pitch darkness. Every single time I see him, I feel this jump of joy. They quickly replaced the salt, pouring it along the threshold again. Or Simona. Oh my god. Oh my god. It seemed to be the only thing on his mind. Apologies. And I'm gonna say this in here as well. I'm not gonna have a goodbye like I have in every single video, because I did record something else, which was the scene that I didn't pick in my first go through because I was fucking upset with Dragan back then. And that was episode 4. I will have an introduction there too, just so you know. Because in my eyes, I felt the need to record that as well after the last scene of the season. I felt the need that it would help me to understand why this man is so explosive and why he felt the need to hurt us like that. And it actually gave me a lot of insight, which actually just empowered me to want to pursue this man. Mainly, of course, nothing is decided. I can be persuaded, but it made me fold for this man even more. So just so you know, I will put that scene from episode 4 at the end of this video. It was the reason he'd rushed to them through the fog and the Kyoshes. He didn't know if we were alive, and he needed to make sure. He needed to see us well and fine with his own eyes. I am weak. He had to make sure she was alright. No, bye. My man. She's in her bedroom. You would think, babe. You would think. May I? Because he's not gonna rest. He's not gonna rest. God damn, I love this. He's giving me so much Malbonte vibes. I'm so sorry. Again, Malbonte is one of a kind, but he did have like this nonchalant attitude, even though we knew that he was dying on the inside. In love, he needs to make sure by himself that we're alright. Go. Ratmi not saying shit. He knows. He see the signs. Dragan went up to her room and knocking gently to open the door. My god. It took Dragan a moment to realize that the room was empty. Where was Simona? Where had she gone? A wave of despair swept over him and he rushed back out into the darkness and cold. Oh my god. Honestly.
Ich geh shoppen. Tschüss.
Honestly, y'all, in my eyes, when he actually saves our mother and she gets mutilated, I feel like the scene where Dragan runs up to our room without actually asking and everything, like you remember my first go through, I feel like it fit a lot more with the scene than him actually saving both of them. Before he comes into the house, and then him gently like asking like, is she fine? Like, where is she? And we're like, oh, she's upstairs. And then he's like, may I? When we know that he's dying on the inside, like him rushing up downstairs, knowing that we are not there. In my eyes, until he saw us, he would have always had like this feeling that he needed to act quickly, as in him not even asking if we're all right, him just zooming upstairs to actually see us with his own eyes would have been a lot more logical to me, like it was when her mother got sadly mutilated, and like when I wasn't capable to warn her and she was paralyzed with fear and everything. Like, you all know what I said back then. Like, in my eyes, that would have made more sense. Dragan was scared for the first time in a while. The fear of losing her was so great that he felt dizzy. Why did you come into my life? Things were so good. I had everything under control. And then he had no control over anything. Simona was out there, alone, and he wasn't there for her. He'd been pushing her away for so long that she couldn't even bear to look at him. It was the result he both yearned for and feared. Simona thought he hated her, but in reality he only hated himself. He hated himself because he couldn't leave her alone. Simona, where are you? Dragan took a step and immediately disappeared into the fog. Okay, like, after this there was no other choice to make. So you saw my first reaction. You can check that one out. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video with me. I am gonna put episode 4 again at the end of this. So stay tuned for that one. And I will see you in another video. Bye. Alright, y'all. Since I decided to do a replay anyways, like the people that have watched my finale reaction already know, like I already said it also in the comment section, that I was gonna replay. And this is episode 4, like the choice that I refuse to pick, where Dragan like decides to drown his stupidity in alcohol. This man is an even more difficult character, more mysterious than, I would say, Malbonte, but more because we could see how Malbonte truly felt about us. Like, he never really allowed his impulsive nature like to get the best of him. Like, he would always have himself under control, like be calm, collected, and we could like see this man's behavior, like this man's action betray like his true intentions. Meanwhile, or dear little Dragan has the tendency to actually say hurtful things in order to keep us at bay, and then he regrets it the second he says it, as in this man doesn't have himself under control. Another cup of beer. How many did he have? Dragan had lost count. Goddamn, like his stupidity. It really is. Kalman and Vlas were sitting on either side of him. He was pretty tired of them, but his thoughts were too loud when he was alone. Goddamn. They made Dragan really sick of himself. He's actually drowning his stupidity in alcohol, y'all. Like, he regrets what he said the second it left his mouth. Velas mumbled something, slumped over the table. Kalman poked him in the side to silence him and turned to Dragan. About your mother, right? He committed an even bigger atrocity. Dragan grimaced. Don't remind me. I'm reminding you already. Not her. Who then? Me. He's picturing it in front of his face, y'all. Yeah, because here I chose the determination point. He's actually having it in front of him. Goddamn. Honestly, I'm living. I should have picked the option. What can I say? I'm impulsive. Fight me. You're the worthless one here. Or words actually cut him deep. He pretending that our words don't matter, but because he actually has feelings for us telling him that actually cut deep, because he is actually vulnerable at heart. He truly cares, but he's scared to open up his heart and to actually admit to himself that we are his weakness. So he feels the need to push us away every single time, but the point is he's already in too deep. He already is a simp. He already is a wimp for us. So, in his eyes, insulting us, considering we would rather remain silent instead of actually talking back, is easier for him to keep us at bay. But the second we talk back and we actually use the same words, as in the same insults, the same ways as in to keep him at bay, this man is hurt. Because he cares about us already. Worthless. Me. Yes, you're right. You don't even know how right you are. Ay. But you're not worthless. That's the fucking problem. You should just be honest about how you feel. Is it that difficult for him to actually open up? A young woman left her friends laughing and came up to the guys. Dragan vaguely remembered her. In the past few years, she had become more feminine, turning into quite a beauty. He had barely spoken to her before. Kalman greeted her, smiling expectantly. Mila, the drunken blush suits you. Right. And you look like a rooster before a fight. I'm not your type. Dragan is, right? I'd rather stay hungry tonight. Dragan was barely listening to their exchange, but the woman suddenly turned to him, leaned over and put her thin, delicate hand on his back, running her fingers along his spine. The jealousy I'm feeling, y'all. Dragan's mine, I claimed dips, like he's the main one I'm pursuing. I'm creating chaos with tossing the women into all of this, but right now, like, my main focus is Dragan. Like, he's the main lover. Then it's like a huge ass tie between Ozar and Volot. And then it's Sirin and Tata. Tata's like this cutie pie, and I feel like I'm too damaged for her beautiful, innocent soul. And Sirin actually, she kind of gives off like Dragan vibes, sort of, like refusing to open up. I did analyze her in episode 9, I think. Like, she has been hurt to that point where she's scared to open up her heart, and that's exactly what Dragan is doing. While she remains her calm, this man is actually impulsively telling us to shove it because he's not willing to accept that we're his weakness. Dragan, do you remember me? He looked up at her. Bye. She was beautiful, cheerful, and carefree, so he didn't have to worry that she would be a nuisance. Okay, first off, I agree, she is beauty, but woman, didn't you have a thing for Oza? Or you feel the need to move around? Dragan, amen, my good sis, amen. But the more he looked at her face, the more she seemed to annoy him. Something about her voice, gestures, and emotions subtly reminded him of her. Me. Guilty as charged, but I regret nothing. This is what your ugly ass gets. If you actually have feelings for me and then I actually talk back, like giving you a little bit of the sass and the pain that you've been causing me over these years because you can't be honest about your feelings, and that's on you. And he had always chosen girls who looked nothing like her. This man. So he actually has been sleeping around trying to get us out of his head? He be doing that? My friend also prefers to stay hungry tonight. Nah, that's not true. I understand. Mila laughed, tossing her hair. The pendant on her chest swung like a pendulum. He would be willing to actually make an exception for us. I know that. Where did you get that? She touched the amulet. My father gave it to me. The mother wore my gift for the celebration, but will she wear it as often as Mila wears her father's gift? This man. What did I say? A wimp. He's a wimp. Like everything that's going on in this man's mind revolves around us. He's actually obsessed with us at this point. He wants what he can't have, sort of. He has convinced himself that he can never ever have us because of the stupidity that he's done when he was little, not being capable to be open about his feelings, always pushing us away, to the point to make us believe that he hated us. And he feels that he can only be close to us when we believe that he hates us, because that way we will keep our distance, and that means it will be easier for him to keep his distance too, because if we would try to get close to him, he won't be capable to control himself. This man, goddamn, if I would have just chosen this option. But what can I say? I'm a bitch just like you, Dragan. Like, my impulsiveness will take the best of me. It will get the best of me, and then I will lose. What do I care? You care, that's the fucking problem. Dragan wasn't quite sure himself why he had made that damn gift. It wasn't because Veria said something. One day he saw a merchant selling stones and froze, unable to tear his eyes away. Dragan was surprised that a stone could resemble the color of her eyes so accurately. He decided to try to make a pendant, not planning on giving it to her. When he was satisfied with the result, the amulet remained in his drawer for a long time. He actually made it such a long time ago. Why had Dragan given it to her? You occupy Dragan's thoughts. Yeah, I can tell. Goddamn, honestly. Made me fall in love even more with Dragan, this choice. Kalman stretched out his hand to Mila, but she slapped it away jokingly, not letting him touch her. What a beautiful pendant, just like you. Mila rolled her eyes and laughed again. The girls are waiting for me. Talk later. She leaned over to Dragan and pressed her plump, soft lips to his subtle cheek. Dragan closed his eyes, but soon coming to his senses, recoiled. Come on, I don't bite. He can't forget about us, that's the problem. Like, usually a lot of people are willing, to get distracted with, desire, sleeping around in order to... or more in hope that they will be capable to get the person that they truly want out of their system, out of their mind. Occupying their thoughts with a desire or jerking off, whichever way you want to look at it. But it doesn't work like that. And when you realize that no matter who you choose, they will never be as close as giving you that arousal or that beautiful feeling that the one you want makes you feel without even being close to you, as in without actually touching you and trying to get you aroused, makes you completely lose yourself, and you can't actually give in to the temptation that is trying, forcing you to sleep around, because deep down it's not really gonna help you. You can kiss me. No, I don't want to kiss you, but it looks like your friend longs for another girl's kiss. He does. His face. He does. He really does. She left them still in high spirits. She fluttered away like a bird to another branch. Kalman poked Dragan in the shoulder jokingly. Don't get mad at her. Mila doesn't know how close you were with Veria. She wouldn't have reminded you on purpose. Dragan grinned venomously, almost desperately. Veria. Sometimes he really missed her. Now he had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. His safe haven, his refuge, his kind, vulnerable friend. Everything had vanished in the jaws of death. Meanwhile... Okay, this was the option. But just to have to put this in here, because at the end he was talking about Veria. It's still us that he wants, because we were twins, we were looking alike, but Veria had brown eyes, we had green. So, the green pendant, us. So the entire scene was about us. I feel bad, so he actually was also clinging on to our sister. I feel bad, honestly, now that I think about it. He was using our sister because we look alike. He was using our sister, hoping that she could, give him the pleasure that he actually wanted deep down from us, but couldn't get it. And since deep down he knew that Veria wasn't us, he was kind of capable to enjoy her presence and everything. And he knew that if he gets close to us, he wouldn't be capable to control himself. So he thought that if he would be with the fake us, if you kind of get what I mean, it would be enough for him. But at the end of the day, it wasn't. Goddamn, I feel bad. I feel so bad for him. But oh well, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna record other scenes if there was something that I missed. But I'm pretty sure I picked every single option besides this one because I was petty. I was not ready to pay for him. But I should have, now I think about it.